Well, it's time now for the day's business news. Stephen Carroll joins me. Stephen, good morning to you.
Hi,
let's get straight to those Greek debt talks. We're looking at some major sticking points today, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. Now, we're getting the details on what those talks will entail later from our correspondent in Brussels just a little earlier. But let's look at the nitty-gritty of what they're going to be talking about. The Greek government put a proposal to its creditors earlier this week, which essentially hinged on tax rises for the wealthy and businesses, as well as increasing the retirement age gradually to 67. Now, the International Monetary Fund says that will hurt the country's already battered economy and instead wants to see more public spending cuts. Now, Greece's creditors are particularly concerned over the cost of the country's pension system, which they say is too high. Now, they want the retirement age to be raised more quickly and the top-up payments given to some pensioners to be phased out faster. The goal there is to save 1.8 billion euros from the pension scheme starting next year, something that Alexis Tsipras has so far refused to do, but we can expect plenty more discussion of that issue of pensions in those talks as they continue today.
All right, Stephen, the all-important question, how are the markets reacting to this news?
We have seen Asian markets trading down today, but not by too much. Perhaps there was some expectation that meeting yesterday wouldn't reach a deal. We can expect the European markets, though, to see a more significant reaction to that when they open. Investors bound to be disappointed that a deal wasn't reached. You can see shares trading down. The Nikkei in Tokyo edging back from that 18-year high, I should say, that it reached yesterday in trading, and some small falls as well on the Hang Seng and in Shanghai as well.
All right, let's talk taxi strikes now, affecting a fair few people here in Paris, Stephen. It's causing traffic chaos. Why are taxi drivers striking?
Well, let's first of all talk about that traffic chaos. I can tell you that road access to all three terminals at Charles de Gaulle Airport here in Paris has been blocked by striking drivers. That's in addition to parts of the ring road around the city being closed as protesters have been burning tyres. This is, though, the latest in a string of protests by taxi drivers in Paris and across France, in fact, targeting private chauffeur services like Uber. Now, the taxi drivers are calling for stricter regulation of Uber's UberPOP service, which allows private drivers to carry passengers without a special licence or insurance. Now, despite a law banning such services that came into force back in January, Uber says it'll continue to operate the UberPOP service until a court challenge that it's making has been dealt with. This isn't the first time that the company has fallen foul of city authorities around the world, though, as Olivia Salazar-Winspear now explains.
It's one of the major success stories of the online app world. Uber was the little startup that grew and grew. The car service is now valued by its investors at some $50 billion. Founded in 2009 by Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp, Uber exploited the expansion of mobile technology and GPS to provide cabs to its users at the push of a button. You can now order a ride with Uber in 57 countries around the world, from Brazil to Bahrain. But Uber's rise has not been without a few bumps in the road. The company's come under fire from existing taxi services, and lawsuits have been brought against it for unfair competition. The service hit the headlines in December last year when one of its drivers was accused of raping his client in Delhi. Uber's business model has also come into question. A California court ruled that the company must classify drivers as employees and not independent contractors, as they currently do, a common practice in the so-called sharing economy to keep down costs. Despite these challenges, Uber has no intention of slowing down. It's recently branched out into food delivery with Uber Eats and has plans to offer other services in the future, driving ahead with its plans for Uber domination worldwide.
Some more of the day's business headlines for you now. And the US Congress has given President Obama fast-track authority to negotiate new trade deals. The vote was passed in the Senate in a move that's a boost to the Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership Agreement, 12 Asian countries. It may also help to speed up talks with Europe on a new trade deal. And IKEA in the United States is to raise its minimum wage for workers by 10%. The change will take effect from January 1st and will make the basic wage $11.87 an hour. It follows similar moves by other major retailers in an effort to retain their staff.
All right, Stephen, finally to a luxury hotel that's come up with a new innovative way to relax customers.
Yeah, finally and finery, possibly in this hotel as well. And that they're going to help their customers to relax by giving them an option to cut off all wireless signals in their hotel. The Villa Stephanie in the German town of Baden-Baden is offering a switch next to the beds which activates a copper grid in the walls and will cut off access to all Wi-Fi and mobile networks. Now, the head of the company that owns the hotel told the Financial Times that at least half of the visitors that have stayed in the hotel have used the switch since they got there. He says these are the sort of people that haven't switched off in years from their jobs. They are also the sort of people that can afford to pay more than €1,100 a night for these hotel rooms. So they're obviously people that are reasonably high flying as well, but a chance to unplug at least for them.
Or you could just simply switch your phone off and Wi-Fi at home. A tad cheaper.
Far too easy, Rochelle.
All right, Stephen, thanks very much for the business roundup there.